So I wanted to do a quick video on changing beliefs. So I think we already do a lot of work on changing our personal beliefs around specific people or specific situations, but I think what gets forgotten, and this really came up for me today, is we often forget that we hold beliefs about entire bunches of people. So sometimes it doesn't actually matter how the specific person shows up, because we already have a set belief of how we feel someone from that subgroup is going to show up. For example, especially in heterosexual relationships, if you have opinions about, men in general, like men don't like commitment, men always like to cheat, men are not really spiritual, men are really closed. We can have, something I've really noticed in my life is when I have a set belief about like a whole group of people, not only do I meet specific people that mirror that back to me, but I also just find that everybody I meet mirrors that back to me. So it reaffirms my belief that it's true. So you might have a belief that hot people, for example, are players, or hot people are rude, or like people that you don't find very attractive are kind and faithful. Like there's all kinds of weird beliefs that we partly build ourselves, partly other people tell them us, or other people have those beliefs that they pass them on to us. And then we go out living our whole lives, totally buying into these beliefs and categorizing whole subsets of people by them. And it's really messy when it comes to, like a whole gender of the people that you want to date. So, while you're manifesting your specific person or you're manifesting whatever, you might actually want to take a look at the beliefs that you actually hold from an entire gender, or certain people that look a certain way from an entire gender, or people that have a certain job from a gender, like, oh, all policemen are corrupt, or I know it's a weird way, but actually weirdly that is the way that it tends to go. People never think, oh, all policemen are really good people. They always, and you might even be like, well, I would never date anybody from that particular job because of a personal thing that I believe everybody that does that job is like this, You might say all bankers or rich men are players, but that's really not true. And some of the richest people in the world actually were very faithful and had very grounded relationships and built like some of the biggest businesses. And, none of these statements are actually true statements. They're beliefs. And whilst it's important to change our own personal beliefs, it's actually really important. You can sometimes get sabotaged by whole gender beliefs that men or women are all a certain way. I see it on Facebook a lot, actually. I see somebody sharing one of these posts on, like higher consciousness or something. And you get people go, yeah, no men can be faithful. But then you get all the men like, women are always this, but you can tell that they're always coming from personal experience and things that they've seen in their life. And the more you affirm it, the more these things show themselves. I actually used to have, when I think back, it's interesting because some of the beliefs I had about men in negative ways would not only show up in my relationships, but all the male friends I had would also be like this. And it was even worse in a way because they were my friends and we could talk about absolutely anything. I would like hear it even more. So that actually reinforced my belief. And then as over the time I changed my belief on how men were, I started to get friendship groups that were, because it was almost the friends that were worse, because you wouldn't necessarily always know all these things with a guy, but when you talking to a friend and they're really, really open to you and they tell you everything about their partner and how they actually feel behind their partner's back, that was actually worse to hear, and that can actually build a stronger belief when you then meet people that your person thinks like that too. So it's really important to change those mass beliefs because there's no truth in them. And what I noticed was I started to get friends with guys that were totally different. And you know, they were just completely different people with completely different beliefs to the old male friends I used to have. So, you know, all levels exist. So you just want to tap into the vibration of the one that matches what you desire. So, yeah, that's just something really important to look at. And I hope this was helpful.